Welcome back everyone to Blender to Unreal Engine 5, the complete beginner's guide, and this is where we left you off. Alright, so let's now just close that up a minute. Let's come to our grey box and bring back our grey box. Let's put it on object mode so we can see what we're doing. And now let's have a final look at our actual grey box. Now I want to split our grey box up. So I want this piece here to be split from here because I want to be able to see what I'm actually doing properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press tab to go into edit mode. I'm going to click on my plane, P, selection, and then that's split off now. All right, now what I can do is I can hide the rest of my grey box away and I should be left with something like this. Now, before I carry on, I just want to check and make one last time certain I'm actually happy with this because I think this part here is not actually wide enough. I think I need it a little bit wider. And the reason is, I think actually looking now when we've got this all built out, it's not quite wide enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab this part here with edge select. I'm going to pull it out slightly, and then I'm going to come to this part here, and I'm going to pull this out more like so. And the reason I'm doing that is because actually this part here is going to be have a support on for the actual boat where they're going to tie a rope off. He also needs to walk down here with, fishing crates and things like that. So he's going to need a little bit of room down there. So why not make it a little bit bigger while we can? All right, so now let's think about how we're going to actually create all of these planks running down here and all of them running down here. Now, it's really up to you which way you go with this. So you can have planks running all the way sideways. So if I put on my grease pencil, you can have planks running this way down here. And it wouldn't be sophisticated. We're going to have planks running down this way as well, as you can see, like so. Now, the thing is, it wouldn't be sophisticated where we've got, some corner pieces in here or anything like that. What it would be is, so if I just remove this, so I can come up here and click the, let's click the eye off. We'll click a new one. And then what we'll do is we'll just draw it again. So what I want to do instead is either draw it going down all the way to this way, and then the others going back this way. Or we do it the other way where these are going all the way up and then this is going back that way. Either way, that's the way we need to do it rather than any diagonal things or anything like that. Okay, so now we've got the idea of what we're going to do is I'm going to bring it down this way first. So I'm just going to pull it out a little slight bit more. And I think I'm happy with this one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in an edge loop. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, bring in an edge loop, left click. And this time we're not going to right click to drop it into place. We're just going to move it over so that it's just behind those pieces of wood in there, like so. Then what we're going to do is we're going to press Ctrl R the other way. We're going to bring it over just so it's in there, like so. Now, the thing is, you've got to remember that we're going to have a door on this part, so actually, probably better off bringing it all the way back to where our door's actually going to go into, which will be somewhere around here, I would imagine. Okay, so now we've got that. We've got these two pieces. So if I come in and I grab this with the face select, this one and this one, like so. What I can do is I can actually press P, selection, and split everything off, like so, making it a little bit easier to work with. Now, it's up to you whether you want to put some wood actually in here, because the thing is, underneath our actual model, we're going to actually have some wood in here as well. So we might as well actually do it all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift and H, so Shift H, split everything off, like so. Now, let's actually bring in some actual wooden parts then. So what I'm going to do is I need to split it off again. So I'm going to grab this one and this one. I'm going to press P, selection, like so. And there we go. This is what we've got now. Now, the thing is, at the moment, if I click on this one should be fine. We can put some actual planks going across. So I'm going to press Ctrl R, bring it up a little bit, like so. Left click, right click, like so. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come to this one. Now, if I bring in an edge loop now, so Ctrl R, you'll see it only goes up to this point here. So actually what we're better off doing is grabbing the whole thing, so all of the islands with L, and then pressing delete, and we're going to click dissolve edges, like so, and then that's going to get rid of that line there. And now I can press Ctrl R and bring them all up, like so. Now, the thing is as well that I need to make sure that I've got both of them selected to make sure, as you can see here, that these planks, planks of wood here are not the same size as these. So I need to go back and go back to this before I added them. Click on this one to make sure this is the selected one. Tab, Ctrl R, and now I'm just going to line them up, making sure that they're around the same size as this one here. And they want to be quite thick because they're holding a lot of weight, these things. All right, something like that I think is good. Now, finally, we want some more planks now, which are going to go this way. They're going to be long planks, but you're not going to be able to really see them, so that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to this part here. I'm going to press Tab. I'm going to press Control R and bring them up like so. Left click, right click, and there you go. Now you can see pretty much we've got all of our planks of wood. Now, the thing is, are these going to be more uniform than the actual planks of our, hut? I think these ones can be a little bit more uniform, but these ones here, I'm going to do what we did before, where we actually split them up and then move them along as we did before. So let's do that now. So we know the length that they're going to come to. First of all, though, let's focus on these ones. So all I'm going to do with these ones is I'm going to right click, I'm going to mark a seam so that we've got our seam now to split them all up. Then I'm going to add some edge loops like so. Left click, right click. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to split all of these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, face select, I'm going to press L on every other one. So L, 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 L. And then I'm going to press Y. And what Y is going to do is it's actually going to split them all up like so. All right, so now they're all split up. Now we just need to randomize these ones here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to grab the remaining ones with L, like so. And then I'm going to extrude them down. So E, pull them all down like so. Now they look like planks of wood. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bevel them off. So I'm going to press Tab, grab these ones. I'm going to press Control A, all transforms, right clicks at origin to geometry. And then what I'm going to do now is I just need to make sure, I know that when I unwrap these at the moment, that we will have a problem in that we've marked a seam, but the seam unfortunately has gone through as we extruded them. So what I want to do is I want to press Control E and clear that seam because I want them going all the way around basically, and the seam will be on here. And then what I want to do is I want to come to each of the ends now. So I'm going to actually hide this first. So Shift H, hide everything else. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark a seam down each of these. So if I come in and grab each of these, unfortunately, because we split them all up, we'll have to just go down each individual one. There is no way of grabbing all of these. Well, there is actually, but it'll be quicker just to do it like this. Like so. And then what we're going to do is press Control E and mark seam. All right, so now we've got seams marked here and here. So all of those are pretty much done. So now what I can do is I can come in, Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, and then we're going to bring in a bevel modifier, bring it all the way down, bring it up a tad like so. Just make sure you're happy with these corners. And I think I am. So I'm happy with those. And then what I want to do now is I want to actually randomize them a little bit and maybe possibly make them a little bit smaller and a little bit bigger or something like that. So let's have a look first, see if I need to do that. I will actually do that. So what we'll do is we'll come in, we'll grab a couple of these. So L, L, L. I'm going to press S and X, bring those in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple more, like so. I'm going to press S and X and bring those out, like so. And then I'll grab just a couple more, like this one and this one. I'm going to press S and X and make those pretty thin, like so. And now I'm just going to fit them all together. So I'm just going to go over the top, just making sure everything is fitting together. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab all of these up to this point. I'm going to move them over, like so. And then I'm going to just work my way along as we did before, moving them along. And I'm trying to keep them in line with this one here because I know this is the, the right kind of size. So I can move this one along. So, and then I'm just going to have a look at what they look like. And they're looking pretty nice, but you can see we've got a big, a really tiny gap here. So let's see if I can move this one across. Like, so you can see also that it's actually in there. And that looks pretty good. And I'm just wondering now about these ones on here, which I need to sort out. So this one here, I'm going to make a little bit smaller. So S and X, like so. I'm going to move it over to here. And then what I'm going to do is grab this one, move them both over to here. And I'm going to insert another small one. But I don't really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one a little bit thinner. So S and X. Bring it over. Holding Shift. And then this one, bring it over. And then I'm going to make a small piece here. So L, let's have a look. So L, Shift D, bring it over into here, and then S and X, make it pretty small. Like so, and we can see there I grabbed another bit here, so I'm going to come to that. I'm going to press L on that, delete vertices, and this is what you should end up with, something like this, which is looking pretty nice. Now, the last thing we want to do is we want to bring some of these back a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with face select, and I'm going to grab just a couple of these and pull them back. Bring one out, maybe bring one back just to make them a little bit uneven. There we go. And now let's randomize everything. So A to grab everything, mesh, transform, randomize. Let's bring it down to 0. Let's work our way up. So 1. Actually 1. Look at 2. 2 might be way too much, so we're going to put it on 1. I think 1's going to do it. And then finally right click and shade auto smooth. And let's press Alt H, bring everything back. Let's hide our, we'll hide our gray box over here. So let's hide that out of the way. Like so, and there we go, we can see what we've got. So why I did that is because in there, the door is probably going to be around here. So we've got these planks of wood actually showing through, and that is exactly what we want to have. Now, the other thing is, because we've got already these planks of wood, we could actually use these as well. Now, how do we do that? So if I grab this one here, I'm going to press Shift D. I'm going to bring it out then. And then what I'm going to do is spin this round. So RZ 180, spin it round. And let's pull this back like so. We'll fit it nicely into place. Pull it back a little bit like so. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come to this part in here. So I want to click on this part. So I'm just going to put it onto, if I can actually grab this in here. I don't actually think I can see that. There we go. I'm going to delete this. Actually, yeah, I'm going to delete this out of the way. So let's delete it like so. Let's take... put it back onto object mode now. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut these away. So I'm going to go over the top, and I'm hoping that then I can pull them out, you know, make them a little bit uneven. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in, I'm going to press the tab button. I'm going to make sure everything's selected with A. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to mesh, bisect. We're going to grab it from here, like so, and cut it down there. Now at the moment, we can see that it's at a slight angle. But if we come over here, we can see that this top one where it says 0.012, whenever you've got one that's like a little bit off number, so you can see it's -1, that's fine. It's this one here. If you put that to 0, you'll see it straightens the whole thing up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to clear the inner or the outer. In this case, it's going to be the outer. And finally, we can actually move around as well as we do this. We can fill the actual gaps like so. Sometimes it does this. I'm not sure. Sometimes it doesn't fill them correctly. If this happens, basically take off fill because it's not actually worth it. What it's done there is it's actually bisected, and we can see, I'm hoping that it's not actually joined them together. That's why I'm not going to fill it, because it'll make more of a job for us later on. So I'm going to leave it like that. The other thing is what you can do is you can also move this now. So you can see we've actually got control of moving these out of the way. So I'm going to put it just there like so. Now finally, let's come in now. And what we can do is we can actually fill all of these faces in. So the way to do that is I'm going to grab everything like so. I'm going to come to mesh, clean up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill holes like so. Press tab. There we go. Beautiful wood. Okay, so now we need to randomize these a little bit. So the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to come first of all, grab the ends, just the ends. And we're going to do this a couple of ways. So first of all, I'm going to come to proportional editing, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on random, and now when I pull these out, you'll see it pulls them out very randomly like so. So you can see, we go over the top, is it actually doing that? There we go. It's not actually doing what I actually wanted, so scrap that. We're not going to do that. We're going to put them back, and we're going to do this manually. So we're going to grab this one. Going to pull it there and there, and what I will do though is I'll use the proportional editing to get some random rotation out of this. So let's look at that. That's looking pretty nice. Now let's come down, and I'll see if I can actually rotate it on the Z axis. Like so. So let's turn that on. 7 to go over the top, R and Z. You can see it's trying to rotate the whole things, and we don't really want that. We want them nice and straight. We don't really want them too much of a rotation. Let's look at what actually looks like. You know, that's not actually too bad at all. All right, we've run over a little bit on this lesson. So on the next lesson, what we'll do then is we'll just make sure these are okay. And then what we'll do is we'll actually start on this one. All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.